Welcome to my channel and welcome to my video. I am so glad that you could join me here today. I want to cover this video. The subject is, should I live in a van? There's many of you out there trying to decide if this lifestyle is for you. I don't mean to answer every question. I really mean to give you questions that you need to search out the answers for. Now, I can answer many of these questions and help you in a later video, but the scope of this video is to skim through and to go as quickly as I can, because I know that people do not like watching long videos, and I'm going to try to get this as short as I can possibly do, but I need to give you information that you can mull over until the next video. And I am not used to doing videos, and I don't really know very much about editing. And I've put this off for a long time because I'm trying to get my house sold so that I can be full-time once again in my van. And then I'll have more time to go full-time and do these. And I'm just learning. So here, let's join in. I'm going to cover things as quickly as I can. So you think you want to live in a van? Well, that could be a van, or it could be an RV, an ambulance, a schoolie, a SUV, or a small car. It can be any of the above, whatever you choose to live in. We'll go into detail about choices later, but in this video, you need to decide, are you doing this out of necessity, or are you doing this because you choose to do it? There's people on both sides. If you're doing it out of necessity and you're in a situation that you need to get out of, I want you to know that there's many people out there that will help you. They might not can help you with money, but they want to help you in some way. There's resources, and I'm going to name some of those in a minute. So first of all, I want you to do, okay, another question is, are you going to do this weekends just because you like to camp and travel and you want to know how to build out a van? Or are you going to do it summers? Or are you going to do it full time? Are you going to do stealth in the city because for some reason you want to remain in the city, whether it's to hold down a job or be close to friends and people? Or are you going to do boondocking and travel all over the United States? All those are important questions that you need to ask yourself. There's a couple things that suggestions I would like to make for you. One of them is go to YouTube, find cheap RV living, and that is Bob Wells. He has over 300,000 subscribers. I don't know what he currently has. He's been in this lifestyle probably over 20 years. A majority of that was spent in Alaska year-round, living in a van in the cold. He has much valuable information. He also puts on an event that is mostly funded out of his pocket, and it has grown quite large to like 7,000 people, and so you'd expect maybe 10,000 this year. And it's located in Arizona in January. He has to deal with the BLM land management, and it takes quite a bit of negotiations to do that. Any day he's going to announce where and when. And I'm not going to cover those issues in this video because this video is already going to be too long. So let's just hurry through. So go to his channel. I suggest you watch 50 to 100 videos. Subscribe to his channel. And I hope you like this channel and decide to subscribe to it also. And let me tell you something that probably you've never heard from any other channel, possibly. They say click that bell. But when you click that bell, you're getting YouTube's default. You're getting a clear bell, and it means show me some of the videos some of the time. But if you'll click it a second time, and you'll get that black bell, the dark filled in color bell, that means show me everything all the time. Well, YouTube likes to learn your habits and see what you do. And if you come see my videos all the time and you've clicked the black bell, it's going to keep showing them and giving you notifications. But if you don't watch the videos for a long time, there's a possibility that it will quit showing them because it knows what you like and what you do on YouTube, and it's going to feed you more of that, whether it's cooking videos or whatever. And so If you aren't getting notifications, come back to the channel, mine or anybody else's, and see what color the bell is and watch a video or two, and maybe you'll get back in line. Okay, enough of that. I want you to, enough of that. Okay, another thing I want you to do is go to Facebook and join some Facebook groups about the van life. You go to the search bar. When you're not in a group, you go to the search bar and you search on subjects. And on YouTube, I would search van life, but in Facebook, I would search the word van dwelling. It can be one word or it can be two words, but that's where some of the groups, the word that's in some of the names. There's groups for everybody, and there's groups for only women. And particularly, I really enjoy the women groups the best, but you really get information in both groups because men have some really valuable information too. But sometimes in those groups, they can be a little rough. Even the women can be a little rough in those groups. It just depends. It depends on you and your attitude. And if you come in the door and you start telling everybody how bad the group is and how they did you wrong or you didn't like what they did, they are going to basically make you feel so bad that you're going to leave that group. Don't come into the group telling them what you know and what you think they should do and be. Come into the group listening and using the search bar. Many people come to the group and they ask 5 questions. They say, tell me about your van, show me all your pictures, tell me about solar and how much wattage I need and how much does this cost. Don't do that. Spend a lot of time using that search bar. Put in the word bed, put in the word solar, search, read, or scroll back through everything and read. Don't ever ask, how much does this cost? Because they will answer it and it won't do you really any good at all. Because you'll see how much it costs for me. There's some people that are couples that cost them $4,000 a month. Well, no, it doesn't cost everybody $4,000. But you don't spend $500 a month on entertainment and have 2 people to feed and going out to restaurants and everything. But there's some people that live on $425 a month and do it. There's many people that live on $700 to $900 a month and do it. But we don't know the answers to your questions. We don't know if you pay a van payment. We don't know if you pay for health insurance. You might eat only half as much as me, and so you spend less money on food. Well, we don't know what you need, and we don't know if you're boondocking. We don't know if you think you can spend it every night in a campground, which is quite expensive. So you're going to get a multitude of answers, so don't ask. Just do your own research. But I will be doing videos on those subjects, and I hope that you'll stick around to enjoy some of those videos. There'll be some that also include how to budget. Now, let me tell you that you do need a budget of your own before you ever start. When you live in a house or an apartment, we call that sticks and bricks. When you're living in sticks and bricks, it's only reasonable that you should have a budget. Many people do not have a budget, but you need to learn how to do a budget. When you learn how to do that budget for your sticks and bricks, then you can change it to fit the van lifestyle. Because many things are, let me say that again. You need to learn how to do the budget for your lifestyle that you're presently in so that you can switch it over to van life. Many of the things on your budget are going to remain exactly the same. I mean, you're going to pay the same for health insurance. You're going to pay the same for auto insurance. You won't be paying for rent or mortgage. For example, I pay mortgage, I pay gas, electric, and water. Okay, I won't be paying mortgage, but I'll be paying more in my gas tank. Okay, I won't be paying for gas and electric, and my water will go down. It'll change. I might spend $5 a month on water, but I will start a new entry that's called joining a gym. And many people do that. And I will just tell you right here that Planet Fitness has 2 options. The regular, if you're going to stay in one location all year long and go to only one location, it's $10 a month. But they have $22 a month, and you can go to 10 times at other locations. So you can travel, and 10 times a month you can take a shower at a Planet Fitness. And I need to get going faster here. Okay, can you adapt to this lifestyle? Do you realize that there's going to be a lot of changes? You're going to have to decide, where do you go to the bathroom? Where do you take a shower? And we have answers and options that you can choose that we'll talk about later. You're going to have to decide whether you can you're going to have to decide whether you can handle heat fluctuations and cold. You might be in locations that get over 100 degrees, and you're going to need to learn how to deal with that. There'll be different weather types. It might be raining and it might be 100 degrees, and you don't want to be inside the van. There's options, and we can talk about all that later. But you need to know that. You need to know that if you need a social life, and that's a big thing to you, you have to realize it's going to change. You're you If you stay in the same city, you can hang around the same people. But what if you don't? What if you choose to travel? There are caravans that I'll tell you about those later, and they're good for people that are just starting out and don't know how to do what. They race down to Arizona and they join in one of those caravans, and then they're so glad they did. But if you don't, you are going to feel very lonely after a while, unless you're like me. I'm a loner, and 3/4 of the time I'm fine. I'm fine being alone by myself, but part of the time I like to join in with people, and I might join a caravan someday also. Okay, there's also what we call follow the weather. So a lot of people will do that. They'll start out in Arizona and stay November through February, and then they'll travel over into New Mexico and spend a month or two. They'll start climbing in elevation so that they can get away from the heat until it warms up in the northern part of the states, and then they'll travel there. So there's different options to consider, and you need to know that they are, and you need to know whether you're going to be dependent on an income. Are you going to need to stay in one city and make an income in that city? Um, I suggest that you do not tell people that you want to go into this lifestyle until you've made the decision that you're ready for it and you're going to do it, and you're financially ready or whatever. Because many people will tell you can't do it, and they will try to talk you out of it. Excuse me. So you have to decide if their opinion bears weight with you. If your family says you can't do it and you don't want to, are you going to listen to them, or are you going to make your own decisions? You have to decide that. So wait until you have all the facts, because everybody's going to ask you a bunch of questions. If you're going to remain in a town and work on a job in town, excuse me, I've been talking so much that I'm losing my breath. You need to decide who you're going to tell. If you're going to stay on a job in town, I suggest that you do not tell people, because if it's a regular 9 to 5, you have more chance of surviving it. But if it's a part-time or nights, days, people act differently, and sometimes coworkers like to take it out on you, and they like to report you and make up gossip about you and give you a really hard time. So I suggest you really don't tell people unless you have a need to tell them. Uh, Particularly if you have an animal, they're going to start watching that animal and reporting you and all this. And you do have options for your animal. It's quite difficult working a city job and maintaining an animal unless you have a daycare for it or some other option. You can answer all those questions later, and that those are decisions that you have to make, and it depends on if it's by choice or what. But there are people doing it. They have ways of finding somebody to dog sit while they go do their grocery shopping or whatever. But if you're going to work a job, some jobs let you bring your animal with you. I mean, you might work at a vet or something. So there are options. Okay, let's go. Okay, let me talk more about a job. There's a lot of people that maintain a job. They might stay in a city or they might travel. A lot of people work online, and they can do it anywhere that they can get Wi-Fi. There's options for that if you're one of those people. Some people do seasonal jobs. They work on BLM land and work at campgrounds if you're physically able to do that. I'm not able to do that, and I'm going to be retiring early. Today is my birthday. I turned 64. And As soon as my house sells, I'm going to quit working. But if I choose to, if I could be traveling boondocking and see a little place, and I think I want to work there part time for a couple months, and I can do that, or you can do that. And people travel and do seasonal jobs. For example, Amazon. I'm not sure. I think it's in Colorado and North Dakota, maybe, and they'll travel back and forth, or they'll go do the sugar beet harvest in North Dakota, which I believe is just now ending. Sometimes that carries over right till the cold weather starts, and a lot of people drop off right before then. But you can make that decision if you're going to work or not, and where you can work and how you can fit it in. Okay, you need to have a budget. Did I already discuss this? I don't remember. You need to have a budget. If you're in sticks and bricks in a house or a mortgage, your own home or apartment, you need to have a budget, and you need to learn what it costs you to live where you're at. And then we can modify that budget for a van life budget. And we can show you the changes of how rent will change to more gas, and water, where you pay a lot of water, you'll pay a little bit for water. You'll pay extra to join a gym and extra to do laundry. Okay? And you probably spend more on gas than you have in the past. In all cases, there will be increases, decreases, and changes. We will discuss budget in a later video. Another thing is, I want you to have an escape plan. Everybody needs an escape plan. You have to decide, what if this doesn't work out? And what if it's not for me and I terribly hate this and I want to go back to sticks and bricks? You have to know how to go about that, and if you're able. Most cases, you can do that. And usually, if you're new and you're by yourself and all on your own and you're afraid of it, and you start it after the first night, you're like, oh no, where do I park? But if you join those Facebook groups, you'll find a lot of support that'll help you of where to park or ideas, and they'll find out what city you're in. If you find somebody that you can communicate in private and share that information, don't share it publicly where you're spending the night. Only say where you've been, don't say where you are. And that's for safety reasons. Okay, you need an escape plan. And usually after a month, you start feeling like, oh no, I don't know if I can do this. What you need to do is join a caravan with other people that are doing the same thing, the same way, at the same time. And you usually feel like it's okay once you do that. And you'll be glad that you did. You also need an emergency fund. You need to be able to handle any emergency that comes up. You might have a death in the family and you might need to fly back home. You might have your engine go out and you need a new engine or a new transmission. And sometimes there's other things that are very costly too. And particularly if you've bought an inexpensive vehicle, you might pay $800, $1,500 for a vehicle. I suggest you do your research on what vehicle you buy. You might just have to use what you have. It might be a car, but you can do it. You really can do it. It's been done by a lot of people doing it in a car. Um, so you need to have that emergency fund. Now, I suggest that you get the best vehicle, the most newest one that you can afford. And then you won't need repairs as often, as much, and as costly. I have a E150 2012 high top van, and I've had it for a year. And it's had a first owner that took care of it. And I should get between at least 300,000 out of it, and I'm at 136 right now. And they suggest doing all the coils replaced at 150,000, and I out of necessity had to do one a couple months ago. Cost me a couple $100 because I needed them to figure out what was wrong with it. But I'm going to go in before I hit the road and have the rest of them done, and that'll be several $100s. But that'll be worth it. And I already spent $1,000 on tires a year ago. So you have to realize that you might need a new battery. You might have to stay in a hotel while your vehicle's getting repaired. You do need an emergency fund. I'm so glad that you joined me for this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you stick around and watch some more of my videos as I gain confidence to do more videos and figure out how to edit and everything. Thank you so much for joining me today. And if you have any questions, please put them below. If I will try to watch and see every comment and respond to it. I love for people to engage me in conversations in the comments. Now, I might not be able to give in-depth answers to any of your questions, and I might just include it in the next video. Thank you so much for joining me. Goodbye.